Digital products are a hot commodity. As consumers, we want the fastest result possible, like yesterday would be preferable. But as business owners, we would really prefer to make the most amount of money while doing the least amount of work. This is where digital products enter the chat. Because creating digital products doesn't have to feel like you're reinventing the wheel every single time. In fact, that could be counterproductive. And in today's video, I'm going to dive into how you can turn your services into best-selling digital download products. Hi, I'm Christina Scalera, and I help you turn your best services, best ideas into digital download products that sell on demand 24/7, 365 days a year, and even an extra day during leap years. If you are feeling overworked and underpaid as a service provider or agency owner, digital products might just be the thing that changes your life forever. You know what else could change your life is hitting that subscribe button and making sure you get weekly updates from me, because not only does it help you out to get on top of all of this digital product news, it's all I ask for in return for producing these videos for you every single week and putting some pants on. I show up for you. It's rare that I meet a service provider that can't turn their services into some sort of product, or at least a productized service that helps them to do their job in a more efficient, fast way. In fact, I got the idea for my digital product shop when I was running a service-based business, and I found that with every single client, we more or less went through the exact same process. And even though they all had different life backgrounds and mindsets that they were bringing to the table, more or less, at some point, we'd always encounter the same hurdles. And so when I was able to turn my service into a product, it really helped to streamline that process, first for my clients, and then for everybody who became a customer and just skipped me altogether to buy my products. If you've been thinking about a digital product for a long time and you're a long-running service provider or agency owner, then you are in luck, because you are actually the best kind of candidate for creating digital download products. Now, if you're a little bit newer, it doesn't mean you can't do it, but you probably don't know all the nuances and ins and outs of working with clients that would lend itself well to creating a digital download product from your services. The first way to turn your services into a digital product is to look for those repeatable patterns and processes in your service-based business that you consistently provide over and over again to every new client or to your clients every single week or every single month. You're probably sending more or less the same emails. You've probably already created templates for certain things that you do with your clients, and you're just modifying those things slightly every single time you send the email or the template or whatever it is out to the client. The client doesn't necessarily know that it's a template. In fact, they shouldn't. They should feel like it's custom and made just for them. But in reality, that wouldn't be realistic to write out the same email every single time you needed to send it off to a client. And instead, it's a better use of your time as a service provider or agency owner to make sure that you're sending a templatized version of that email. It's also helpful to reuse emails, templates, things like that, so that nothing ever gets missed or overlooked, because it's all contained in that template. So the first thing is to sell those templates that you've already created as digital download products. And that was actually where I began and ended. I took the templates that I was using with my clients and I just started selling them inside my shop. It really doesn't have to be much harder than that. A lot of people try to overcomplicate it. Please don't. I mean, that really is as straightforward and simple as it can be. I've built a $2+ million lifetime revenue shop off of just that idea. The next way to turn your service into a product is to look at what you actually want to keep as a service. I mean, presumably you got into this small business for yourself to do things that you actually enjoy. So if you have something that you want to keep on your plate and have that be a service, then leave that. But what could you take off your plate? What could you outsource in a way as a digital product that helps your clients get to where they need to be so that you can provide the service you ultimately have always wanted to provide without all that other busy work that it's essential, but you don't really want to do it necessarily. For example, if you're a designer and you provide the full suite of graphic design right now, but you really only like creating, workbooks or stationery that your clients can use inside their online courses, then you could consider outsourcing the rest of the work it took to get to their brand by providing them upfront with a brand kit or some other template pack that they can use to kind of customize the colors within and then come up with their brand that way. Or let's say you're a business coach and right now you love working with one-to-one clients, but you're not so crazy about the group coaching you provide. Could you take all the past group coaching calls you've had and bundle those up into some sort of mini course, especially if you cut out the certain sections of whatever call you had and lump them together by topic and sell that as a mini course on said topic. For example, during my group coaching programs, I've covered a lot of different topics. And so let's say I cover TikTok pretty extensively in one group coaching call. I could edit out the parts that don't really apply to someone who wouldn't be familiar with the group, and I could sell that call as a mini course, or I could package it with other calls where I've talked about TikTok and sell that as a mini workshop bundle. Then I'd have even more time and energy to work with my one-on-one clients, which is what I wanted to do all along. And finally, the third way that you can turn your service into a product is to look for what people are asking you for, but you don't necessarily provide. Is there anything there that you can offer in terms of a product suite that you don't really want to offer as a service? Next, once you've figured out what service you're going to be turning into a product, you need to figure out how to actually create it. And so I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but what you want to do is make sure that you are creating these products in an easy to consume fashion for whatever customer you're going to be serving. So for example, if it's a business-based audience, it might be completely acceptable for them to get a digital download of a PDF, or even better, a link to a Google Doc or a Google Drive that contains a couple Google Docs or Sheets or something like that. However, if you're working with more of a consumer-based audience, a PDF or a Google Drive or Google Sheet, Doc, etc. might be a little hard for them to get their head around. So you're going to want to make sure that you provide whatever your digital download product is in an easy to consume format given their skill set or perhaps limited knowledge of using computer programs. For example, I wouldn't consider a Canva template a beginner-friendly product unless it came with some sort of tutorial about the basics of Canva and how to access the product within it, make some basic changes, etc. If you're using templates that you've previously created, make sure you pull those out and create them in a fresh, clean Google Doc or whatever you're using to create it. And pull out any of the parts that wouldn't be applicable to a wider audience and add in anything that they might need, like an explainer paragraph that describes what this section is about. For those of you who are packaging up your information, your brain power into a digital product, I find that Google Docs work really well because most people know how to use them. And also you can keep them up to date forever and always because as long as they're accessing that original Google Doc, they're always going to have the latest version of that. And just a quick tip, as you are sharing Google Docs, just make sure it's set to view only setting so that they can make a copy, or even better, you can actually replace anything after the question mark on Google with the word copy, and it will automatically ask to make a copy for them without giving them access to the original. One other thing that I cannot underline and emphasize enough is don't be too hard on yourself about creating the perfect version of your product when you first get it out there, because this is not going to be the be-all end-all of your product suite. You're going to continue to iterate and improve upon whatever it is that you put out there, and your customers should expect that, because if you weren't doing that, would you really be that great of a business owner? Probably not. This actually leads directly to the topic of pricing, which I know is on everybody's mind as they create that first digital product. Pricing is really important because you don't want to price your first product too high and then nobody buys it. And you also, the worst case scenario is somebody does buy it, but then you have to discount it because nobody else is buying it. So that can be a really difficult situation to put yourself in. But on the other hand, you don't want to price it so low that it doesn't even make it worth it for you to try this out as a digital download product. So I try this over-under strategy where I ask myself, is $5 enough? Maybe not. Is $1,000 too much? Yeah, that feels like too much. Okay, well, is $10 enough? Nah, that's still not enough to make it worth my time. Is $100 too much? I think I'd still be a little bit uncomfortable selling this product for $100. And again, you're going to go through until you find your perfect happy little Goldilocks zone. And I'm just using these numbers as examples. This is not like what I'm saying you should price your products at. You could also choose to price this digital product at a tenth of what the service would cost. For example, when I was considering pricing for my contract templates in the contract shop, which is my e-commerce store, I thought about how much I charge for a custom contract to be written, and that was around $5,000 or $6,000. So I actually divided that by 10 and came out with the price of $500 and priced slightly below that for some vanity pricing. Vanity pricing just refers to, the 99 cents at the end, or the $4.99 instead of $500 on the product description page. So if I say that term, that's what I mean. Another thing that's important to keep in mind, especially if you continue to run your service-based business like I did for several years as I was getting my digital product shop up and going, is that you want to make sure that you differentiate the value between the service that you offer and the products that you offer. So are the products that you offer going to help them in some way get to that service? Are they a stepping stone? Are they totally separate? It's really important to talk about them and just call these things out to your audience so that nobody is confused about whether they should be booking you as a service provider or just buying your products. The transition from service provider to digital product shop owner isn't as hard as you might think. In fact, it can be quite rewarding to see that you're still making money despite not showing up for client work constantly. Let me know in the comments below if you've made it this far. Would you consider turning your service into a digital download product? If you are having any doubts at all, I would love to know so that we can brainstorm some product ideas together. And of course, I have a whole list of product ideas available for you inside my Launch Your Shop Academy program. If you're still considering alternative paths for your service-based business and physical products are something that you may have considered, make sure you check out the next video that just popped up on your screen where I compare e-commerce to de-commerce. And in that, you can kind of get a sense for the different business model types and see which is a better fit for you as you continue to expand that growth strategy in your own business. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.